Hi everyone. So today I'm with Zara and we are going to be looking at the profile for the sensory logical extrovert, the SLE, which is the type which Timur from Modern Socionics from the Archetype Center very kindly gave for me after trawling through my 2.5 hour response to his questionnaire and translating it, transcribing it for him and his partner to look through. So yeah, we're typing of SLE. We're just going to read through the profile and see. Also, Zara's going to read it through with me and see what you think of it. So let's do that. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? Here it is. Okay, right. Now, maybe I should share screen as well so people can also see this. Let me share the screen so people can see the report. Application window. There we go. Okay, so let's read it now.
You want me to read it out?
Yeah, should I read it out? Or do you want to read it out?
No, you can read it out.
Okay, so in the strong functions of the logic of the second quadra, so that's basically the beta quadra, right? There are two aspects. One is black sensation, so like extroverted sensation, and the other is white logic, so introverted logic. So what is that? So as we've already discussed, there are two most powerful aspects. The information which is obvious to a person. So in this case, black sensation is information about the power potential, about the struggle, about opposition. So struggling, about different power struggles with people, that sort of idea. So in this case, black sensation is information about, the influence of one person on another or one object on another. So who has power? Who does not have power? What is the balance of power in the city, society, country, etc.?
Yeah, that doesn't sound like it to start with. You're not like power. Well, you understand the difference of like
differences
the hierarchy.
In power. Yeah, differences in power between
you
people.
Feel more powerful.
Either where I would feel more powerful or less powerful, and that I'd be oriented around talking about power differences between people, I guess.
Okay, good start.
So yeah, and since this is a second quadra, so beta, so the logic of beta, so we have not
like
yet seen any exceptions. Yeah, like Olivia and my mum, for instance, would be betas, but I'd be more of in this logical side of beta, so more about the structural power-oriented logic rather than the sort of more emotional side, you could say. So beta logic, and we've not seen any exceptions to this, right, will necessarily have a huge number of considerations about the organization of the state, political structures and government forms, about power measures within the state, about wars, military conflicts, social confrontation, and political struggle.
There's some truth to that. You like all your politics and your, I want to be bloody prime minister.
I wouldn't mind being prime minister. Well, I don't know. It depends on if I'm actually good for the role. I don't know. I just see Boris being prime minister. I think, well, maybe I could be prime minister. Boris could be prime minister, but we have to see. They are.
So that's probably true.
Yeah.
About the political side of things.
Yeah, that's true. I am interested in politics,
and you do like the structure of it and who's top and then who goes next and MP and but
yes,
that in that sense your hierarchy is quite strong.
Yes,
but you don't like. You're not like, oh, I want to be better than that person. You're quite even.
Yes, I like analyzing sort of the systems of say government. Like I like the idea of that's the prime minister, and also they got him in his cabinet or her cabinet. And you also got the different MPs, the backbenchers. You got the speaker as well, and like sort of analyzing that sort of system of different people contributing to running the country. So I find that is interesting to look at, and also how, it's like sort of like an environment you can sort of advance up the ranks, which is interesting. Yeah, no, I'm interested in sort of knowing about that. That's true. And it says they're interested in the subject of the alignment of forces from the position of black sensation. So the increase and expansion of their influence, power as such in all its forms and kinds, from the smallest to the largest scale. So, for example, Vladimir Putin, the president of the Russian Federation, which is an LSI, I agree with him as SI, and also the head of a Russian Orthodox Church, Patriarch Kirill. So you wouldn't know who that is. That's fine. This is translated from Russian. The beta values of both of them are displayed as vividly as possible into that power orientation. So I'm a bit like Vladimir Putin, you could say, but perhaps more extroverted than Vladimir Putin. And from the point of view of white logic, this is more structural thinking logic. Thinking of beta logic types is built on abstract models and schemes. So white logic describes any objects or phenomena of surrounding reality using such abstract models and categories. So that's interesting because
you are quite abstract.
I am very abstract.
I don't think straightforward. It's always like another way of thinking. So that's probably quite true. You're not very straightforward.
Yes, and in the second quadrant specifically, right, for beta, in contrast to alpha, which we normally think I am, abstract logic is associated with extroverted sensorics, extroverted sensation. So as a result, it turns out that the thinking of white logic from the second quadrant, from beta, is built on abstract static schemes that describes the interaction of real material objects from the position of their power characteristics. So rather than being about sort of different ideas and possibilities, perhaps, rather than being about theories, about how are real people structured in relation to one another. So you could say that hierarchy, different people in Parliament could be an example of that. Who's in power? Where do they exist in sort of the hierarchical pecking order? And analysing where I am in that pecking order and trying to climb to the top. So questions of a military political nature are extremely attractive to beta logicians. If a black sensation type if black sensation is implemented in some other areas, if we're referring to business, the activities of an organization, then from the position of white logic, they can always figure out exactly how they can influence other people, create a new social structure, organize a society, or a separate organization in a new way.
Organize.
I can't.
I'm the organizer.
Yeah, I can't organize anything. Well, I get people together and get people to. I can agree a date, but in like day-to-day stuff, I don't organize the thing. I let you do all that because I don't have a clue. They're very often implemented in the fields of politics, law enforcement agencies, special services like special ops, right? And it can be implemented in education, since white logic involves a certain understanding of abstract cause and effect relationships and the ability to explain these relations and convey them to other people. And it says here that SLE, who has black sensation as a basic function, so this is the type I meant to be, an extrovert, is characterized by the status motivation. So accordingly, this is a person who, while engaged in any activity, working in a particular organization, will try to achieve maximum influence and maximum power. This can be the accumulation of certain resources, such as influence on people, influence on the position of authority. They can be realized in politics and power, in the desire to become a governor, a president, to climb higher, get to higher position, respectively, to have more authority and power. Power is not a tangible thing, but black senses are best at managing that power. And from the point of view of the white logic, since it's a creative function, the SLE can agitate in favor of its own person, candidacy. It can explain the situation in the country. It can offer new concepts for organizing social and political life. It can propose some new laws that could be implemented. So I think there's parts which can relate here.
Are you power hungry?
I would say I'm.
You do like to want to progress, but that's not. I don't know if that's power or just progression of your career.
Yes, I know. I've always. I know my mum used to tell me when I was younger that I should be prime minister, and when I was like 3 years old, she said, "You're going to become prime minister."
3 years.
Yes, she used to tell me you could be prime minister one day, and I don't know. I thought that was always a sort of a cool idea, but I never saw myself really getting into sort of the really tough parts of that. Like sort of, I'm not really. I don't know. Like I in any sort of situation, certainly in the immediate situation, not really controlling much of my environment. I let people talk over me most of the time because usually I think what they have to say is more interesting than what I have to say. Let's see. And here,
No, I don't believe that. You also talk a lot.
I do talk a lot.
So that's not true.
That's true.
You don't let people talk.
Do I not let people talk?
To an extent, but you do talk a lot over people.
Oh,
You don't realise.
I don't know really. I'm talking over people.
And then you don't know when to stop, so I have to tell you.
Oh yeah, that's
So much true.
okay. And it can also compose some new laws which should be implemented. And here, Black sensorics increasingly are interested in the power as an abstract category, which can spread to people, the territory, objects. It is the moment of struggle, and possession of something for the emergency is paramount. So acting in emergencies.
Haven't really seen you in an emergency.
Not just to buy a house and sit in it, right, but to have power over this house, and even better, also over some large plot. Basically, be able to control things in the house. If I get a house, I want to control things in the house.
Absolute crap. No.
Okay.
What? And you think that's true? In what respect?
I don't think I control very much around.
No, but what? In what? Well, no. When we go and look at houses, you're like quite like want to know about everything about the house.
True, I do.
But what does that mean?
I want to. Well, for instance, I want to make sure it's got all the rooms which we've agreed on that we want to have in the room, in the house, like a big attic so we can store stuff.
But what does that mean though about the house thing?
It's not like say to have power over this house. That's what it's talking about.
It doesn't mean an actual house.
I think it could be buying a house an example. So having power over whatever I possess.
No,
control
that's
over
not true because I bloody did all of the stuff in Whitney.
Yeah,
it was always like all the bills and stuff was all in because I did it.
Yeah, I let you take charge actually.
Yeah, you didn't take charge at all.
Yeah, and
I was the one doing all the bills.
Yeah, that's true. And in politics and military affairs, a Black sensation type is realizing the ability to control a large territory, protect it from threats, build up the power potential, destroy enemies, drive rivals into a corner, and dictate their terms.
Absolute crap.
Right.
What?
I mean, I can sort of...
Most unthreatening person. You're so bad. You can't.
Do I never scare you?
No. No, but like it's like that whole jealousy thing. Like you wouldn't, it's about, isn't it about the jealousy and sticking up?
Yeah, I'm not jealous.
You're not, but you're not, and you're not like, I don't know. I don't find that. I don't think that's true.
I'm not very possessive.
No.
Right.
No.
And they build up the power potential to destroy. Okay. At the same time, the Black sensation does not necessarily do it rudely and head on, but thanks to white logic, an approximate scheme of events can be calculated with the help of...
Probably quite calculated, though.
I do calculate. That's true. I am calculating.
A bit too calculated, but you do calculate a lot.
I think a lot through. That's true. Mm. And with the help of influencing existing resources or people, you can gradually achieve a situation that is beneficial for a particular Black sensor, right? The ego block of beta logicians can also be implemented in the technical production areas. So among the well-known representatives, there may be politicians, military personnel, teachers and journalists. If this is a teacher, then from the position of Black sensation, he will also be implemented, expand his influence as a teacher. He can become a rector or a head of an institute, make his institute the most influential, important, and so on. There is a certain propaganda from the position of white logic in order to attract... Oh, hello. Yeah. Okay. So there's a certain propaganda from the position of white logic in order to attract people to their side, to explain to them their rightness, to prove to them that some concept or idea promoted by this person is important, correct, necessary for everyone. I think that's true. And certainly around socionics, I do like to sort of confront different ideas. All
of this is very like serious, and I don't know. It just doesn't. It's very like this is the only way. It's like there's like a. No, I don't think this sounds like you. I mean, it's too serious. It's too.
I need to be the big boss.
Yeah, it's like I'm the big. I've got the big.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't do that.
I'm like the top of the class. I'm the top of this. I'm amazing. Look at me. And you're not really. Like you have some, obviously, with all the socionic stuff, like you're like heading it and stuff, but you're not like, I don't know, not allowing other people to do what they want to be able to do in your
Yes.
in it, in a way. You're not like, there are certain rules that you put in place, but this is just like too stringent and too like, yeah, like he's just said, it is severe. It's too like, it's not light-hearted. Like, you do things in a light-hearted way. That's where the alpha comes in, right? That needs, there's a truth to this in like the political side and like some of the hierarchical. You're not very hierarchical, but I think you do have a drive of,
I do like, recognize hierarchies when they're around. I can see them, and I don't like being at, say, I don't like being people telling me what to do in any particular hierarchy, unless there's someone who I think, yeah, they should be telling me what to do because they're in a better position than me. They got more experience, for instance. They're older than me. Then that's fine. I think I can become rebellious in the hierarchy if I think that the people who are telling me what to do don't have any good reason to be telling me what to do. So I could see some of that. I mean, and certainly in socionics, I'm someone who likes to. I am the one who's going out and saying, right, you got these ideas. Let's talk about those ideas. Let's actually see what's actually right about what you're saying. What's right, wrong about what I'm saying. You give
people a chance. It feels like that. If it doesn't give people a chance, and I am the only way, and no one else can say anything to change my mind, and it's too severe. It is just a bit too much.
Because I do think that when I'm engaging in these discussions and debates with people, I do want them to actually present a really strong
and you
case.
have no, like we were saying before, you don't get angry, like you don't. This is more angry.
No, there's no point getting angry. Like, what's the point of
this
it?
is like, so like you have to get angry at this. Like, I don't know.
It hasn't necessarily said that. It actually said it could be calculated.
It like that, isn't it? Really?
It's definitely sort of about, I must be the boss. I need to be the top in my status. I need to be top dog. And I don't, I think that by being an expert in sociologics, I think that I do end up commanding some degree of influence. That's true. But I'm also need to be aware of how much influence that means. What does that actually mean for people who are going to be affected by what I say? And for me, it's more about seeing this system maximize its potential, seeing all the different things it could do actually be brought into reality and helping to make that a thing. And I like being the one who's actually made that a thing. That's true. I do want to be having an influence in terms of actually bringing this theory to some sort of.
But you don't do it in a serious, severe, like.
No, I don't. I think as soon as something gets aggressive, as soon as it gets too forceful, I don't like it. I think that's because I don't like the idea of winning just because I've been the most brutal. If I'm going to win at something, it's because I found an idea which actually has the best potential and people are going to benefit the most from it. And I'm very open to the idea that if other people come up with a better idea than myself, I want to be able to actually change my view and adopt whatever they think, because I think that's, at the end of the day, it's whatever's the best potential, not me winning for being the boss. That doesn't necessarily be the case, but I don't know. Let's see. Since white logic is abstract in its essence, it can be implemented in philosophy. So you have already found these two well-known SLEs who have been realized as philosophers. Slavoj Žižek, they typed SLE, interesting. But at the same time, their entire philosophy is somehow tied to politics, the balance of power, questions of power, and so on. Well, no, I'd say that my philosophy, part of it's about how to, what is right in a society? What does morality come from? I was interested a lot in that and finding a way of making sense of that for myself. I think it's that, for us to survive as people, we need to work together and we need to find ways of having morality which allows us to work together and cooperate. I think that's very important. And also I have a metaphysical side which hasn't got anything to do with power. It's what are things made of? And I think maybe sociologics help.
But this doesn't give you, this SLE doesn't give you the need and thirst for knowledge at all. It hasn't said that at all.
No, and for me, knowledge
was your source of power.
I learn things for the sake of, because it's interesting. I want to find out. But this
it hasn't even mentioned it
at
all.
Exactly.
So that's how you learn things. You absorb things that you read.
Yeah.
You never ever forget them ever.
I think
but it's not really saying that in this.
no, it's not capturing me. I think it's taken an aspect of me, and it's focused in
the
on
abstract
that
side of you.
Yes, that the political side of me, perhaps, and the idea of being a contributor.
Though, as well. It talked about a lot of abstract stuff.
It did. Yeah, the abstracted logic. I think they mean in a very technical form, like certain rules, certain structures. And that makes sense. But then it's differentiating that from SLE, from ILE, for instance, from the alpha, and it's been saying that's because they're using it towards power rather than towards new ideas and explorations and possibilities. So yeah, it's interesting. I know. So overall, what would you say is your verdict out of 10? No,
there's not. Why would you do it out of 10 anyway?
I give it like a
maybe
5.
I was just about to say probably a 5.
I bet a 5.
It's not. I don't think it's you. I think Eileen is more you because it's more light-hearted, but also uses other aspects. I don't think this is you. It's like you say, it's taken a little portion of you to an extent.
Yes,
a bit of it.
I can see aspects of making sense. I think that I've always seen myself as an ILE, but a rather ambitious ILE. Like a stereotype of an ILE just wants to explore just for the sake of exploring and doesn't really create anything more out of it. Whereas for me, I think if I actually reach more influential positions in society, there's more to explore, more to do, more to see these possibilities actually be realized somewhat. But by realizing it, more possibilities can then come out of it. I want it to actually, I think for me, power is a means of actually maximizing more possibilities to be explored. So that's what I think. If you're going to, it's all fine exploring possibilities from like a position where you can't do anything, you can't actually make anything happen. But if you're in a position when you can make things happen, then suddenly possibilities erupt everywhere. Look at Elon Musk, for instance. He can make amazing things happen because of the money, the resources. Oh, he's the guy who does the Tesla car.
I see.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, hello. Right, I think we should finish there because I got to do my live stream. But yeah, I think people are looking at the comments. People are a bit. Someone said I'm a sweetie pie. Oh, thank you, John. I appreciate it. Zara's red pilled. You've been exposed to the truth. Yes, that's what it means. Okay, I know I got to get going because I got an ILE meet. I'm late for my own. Talking about crappy organization. I'm late for my own party. Right, I got to get going. But thank you everyone for tuning in. Zara, thank you for reading this with me. Yeah, so speak soon, everyone, and tune into the ILE party starting as soon to now as possible.